What's up, crew? Zero One Life here with Silk to talk to you about the Tree of Savior experience curve. A lot of people have been talking about this issue, and I have some notes in front of me because there was just so much discussion. I wanted to make sure that I got a good amount of every side in. And we're just going to jump straight into it right here with the two sides that are fighting on this. So side A is the grind is too hard. It's not fun at all. And I gotta say, yeah, that might be a little bit of an exaggeration. Um, I want to say that it's not fun at all is extreme because while it's definitely a broken grind for a lot of people right now, not for me because I love grinding, but it's definitely broken for a lot of people right now. Not fun at all is ignoring things that are working about the game, which I think we need to keep in mind, even if we don't say them so often. But we need to keep those in mind because we don't want to lose the things that are going great. The class system and the way that classes feel when grinding, the way that it feels to beat up bunches of monsters, and just how classes work together on things besides bosses is, I'm going to say, really, really clean. Everything is high production value, just as far as your class's animation goes and how they affect the monsters. Everything is super. I want the person who doesn't feel good when a bunch of monsters are provoked by a swordsman and then a mage just blows them sky high with earthquake. Or the person who feels bad looking at this clip that I'll put up later of Steparu just blasting down lines of enemies with uh, with her Hadouken, with her Kamehameha. Just if you don't like looking at that, like if watching all that gold and stuff come into Steparu doesn't make you go, oh, gold, yes, then come to me, talk on this video because I am wrong and this game needs a lot more work than introducing a better EXP curve. But man, as far as I'm concerned, that's working. That's right. That's right. I'm gonna say it. The grind is fun. The grind is great. We need the grind. Everybody on the grind. Grind as hard as you can. No quest. Sandbox forever. Theme park sucks. I love grinding is the other point that I'm going to talk about, which is on the complete opposite end of the spectrum and also kind of ridiculous. I'm not gonna lie, guys, it's not easy to be somebody who likes grinds these days. Everybody is like, oh, you want this game to suck, you want old school, you've got nostalgia shades on for old games. People say things like that all the time. But I'm definitely on the side of grinding. I just think that it can't be too much, and people can't feel like they've been left alone by the game. And that's a metaphor that I like for grinding, which is while theme parks are like I'm being led around by the nose, when you're doing all these quests, players like me feel led around by the nose like this is a checklist, while you're grinding, other players feel like this is a party with no host. Nobody's looking at me. The only reason I'm doing this is because there's no content here. Now, I think the best thing that I can say about Tree of Savior in terms of grinding is that the classes work for it. The quests don't inspire you to use your class abilities to the best of their strengths, but the grinding does. And man, when you get inside a good party, everybody's killing as fast as they can, and you're watching your EXP bar go up like a loading bar just because of the consistency of death, or you've got a provoking person that's gonna bring all of the monsters to them, and then you have somebody to blow all those guys up. Man, it feels satisfying to watch all that loot go into your character, and it is gonna be really, really nice to see chunks of EXP coming in. But that's not happening right now. Instead of chunks of EXP, you're getting pixels per a crowd of monsters. Literally, I was once sitting with a party, all having fun, but we were watching this thing go up 1 pixel at a time. When I spend a full 6 to 8 hour play session to gain a level, and I just am sitting there suffering through that level, that's too much. I love grinding, and that's too much for me, and much more importantly, because I'll still play, I love it, it's too much for other people. See, the thing is that there are these players who are MMO veterans just like you and me. I used to be all smarmy and Ah, yeah, I played Ragnarok Online. You don't know about the grind. You don't know how it is to get 20 people with you, or 5 people with you, or one other dude, and just kill dozens of monsters at a time. Hundreds, millions of monsters in a single sitting. It feels awesome. It feels good. And it feels like you get to socialize with people. It's the most important part of Ragnarok Online and old school games to me. That isn't really gonna be the case for new people coming into Tree of Savior who are still MMO veterans and have expectations, but didn't start with Ragnarok Online. They started with World of Warcraft, and they're gonna need a quest line or something, some goals to take them from beginning to end. I say that because I already know people that I cannot get to play Tree of Savior with me, and I don't want to just tell them it's not a game for you, because there's so much about Tree of Savior that's working, so much that sets it apart from other MMOs, and so much that I want to work and I want people to experiment with. I want Tree of Savior to raise the bar on things like character progression and character, depth, and being able to be different with your character. I want Tree of Savior to raise the bar on socializing and interaction, and I don't need Tree of Savior to do everything and also raise the bar on having this hardcore grind fest old school stuff. Because while that's nostalgic, it's not the way people play these days, and I would rather just go with something that works, get a nice working quest line, than have something that have so many other things that work that anybody that's never experienced them is going to ignore. I want people who play Terra Online to experience the depth of a character that Tree of Savior can offer. I want people who play World of Warcraft, Terra, League of Legends to experience what it's like to be in an even slightly more social environment. Getting those things working and keeping those things in the game while also giving people the rest of the experience that they've come to expect of an MMO, I think is going to be the most valuable way to do this. And you can move into different sorts of experiences as we move on to expansions and stuff. I hope that makes sense for everybody. So, in keeping everybody happy, I think that the most important thing that happens with Tree of Savior is that the grind is reduced. That should be the first thing. And I think that should be done immediately by raising the amounts of EXP given per monster. After that, though, there's even more that needs to happen. Quest lines should take you very effectively from the beginning through to the end with very little or no grinding in between. I think that's going to happen for the new crowd to keep Tree of Savior modern, and I think that Tree of Savior should do everything it can to stay modern, because it's already got the class system, it's already got extra social aspects, it's doing more than its fair share. But then how do you make grinders happy, and how do you know that people are going to remain social and remain grinding and remain having fun in different unique ways if you say, all right, quests from start to finish? And that's my last point with Tree of Savior. I think that grinding should be kept a viable option, and perhaps even more valuable than quests for speedrunning. I know I said players are going to play in the most efficient way, but when you're talking about players that are going to be wanting the grind, and when you're talking about players that are going to be wanting the quest, the point of the quest isn't that it helps you get from point A to point Z as fast as possible. It's that it helps you get from point A to point Z with goals, that it's always got something to do for you. If your goal is just to get there as fast as possible, if you make grinding the best way to do that, I think that players are going to be all right with that. I think that I think that players shouldn't be punished for doing quests, and that should still move at a reasonable clip. But just as I can speed run a game, I should be able to speed run Tree of Savior. And with quests it becomes impossible if they're the most valuable way. Speedrunning with quests would make every single speedrun exactly the same and just be about how fast can I click this button. I think that maybe there should be some secret quests that give massive amounts of EXP, hats, and things like that. There should be some quests and treasure chests that are hidden throughout the world, and I think that there should be a reason for people to explore and play in ways that are unique, follow different guides, get together with a party and play with their friends through the entire game, and do things in many different ways, with quests being sort of the medium of the options rather than the best. Once you make it the best, it negatively affects other styles of play. Woo! You still with me, everybody? Because we got one more thing to tackle, and that is EXP rate curve off from monsters higher level than you. Now, I don't know if anybody noticed this, but it seems like Tree of Savior is actually punishing you for exploring and going to do things out of your way. This is one of those mechanics, a huge pet peeve to me as a sandboxer, lover, grinder, where not only am I dealing with the fact that quests are the best way to level, you're stopping me from playing my own way actively by saying, you can't gain more EXP from monsters above your level, stay where I want you to be. Now, that's a punishment to me because I want to go out of my way and explore. I want to do things the game is telling me not to, and I just want to chill with my friends and party in places that are going to give us a decent EXP, regardless of whether or not I'm paying attention to quests. I want to be able to have fun with people who are maybe a little outside of my level. So you're telling me, no, I can't do that. Your friend's level 34, either he's getting no EXP while you catch up in quests, or you're getting no EXP while you help him in a high level area. Plus, we're looking at punishing players who are doing the right thing right now. If you're doing quests as you're supposed to, if you're trying to do all of them, at the current level of EXP, you're falling behind in level and you're doing quests that are a higher level than you. So you end up in areas that are a higher level than you. So you end up gaining no EXP and throwing away tons of time that should be spent grinding by killing tens of monsters for these quests that mean nothing because they're too much higher than you to give you a good EXP. Now, I understand being sure that it's not like I kill a monster a couple levels above me and I level 3 times. Although I honestly, that I don't know if there's a huge problem with that. That sounds kind of cool actually. But that's not my point right now. That's the extreme of it. My point is, I don't want to be punished for trying to play things the way that I want to play them. I want to go a couple levels above myself. I want to explore the world. I want to kill 5 hard monsters instead of 1 tough one. I want to heal people in a place where there's actually a risk of death instead of just kind of sitting around as a cleric in a place where there's no risk of anybody dying and I'm just chilling, sapping up the XP. It feels bad to say that, but that's how I feel. That's how I feel a lot of the time. So I want to be able to move to those harder zones with a party that I'm supporting. And rather than being rewarded for trying something harder that's out of my league and succeeding at what the game wants me to do, kill tons of monsters, I'm being punished by being able to kill less monsters because they're harder and getting less EXP for it. That's not fair. I like the difficulty. I should be getting 150 to 200% the EXP on tougher monsters than what I get on lower monsters. And going through a quest line, once again, should still be a viable option. But if you want grinds to be viable, and if you want me to feel like, me personally, to feel like I have a place in the game, I can do something outside of the comfort zone of the developers, I can have fun, I have a little bit of freedom, then allow that freedom to stretch out into some other zones. Let us be free, let us do what we want, give us EXP, reward us for exploring, reward us for playing the way that we want to. Don't take away experience. Take away some experience to make the curve okay, to make it feel comfortable, you know? Have some formula in there to make it so that I don't level too quickly if I'm on tougher stuff. But I want a little bit of bonus. I want it to be viable to level in a higher level zone. And right now it's absolutely not. Fighting things that are fightable, that I can kill, fighting things that I'm very much able to kill, that are a couple levels above me, is giving me no EXP right now. Or giving me less or equal EXP to what I would be having if I was in a place of my level. So that's what I've got to say on EXP for now, guys. I hope you stuck with me for this long talk, and I hope that we see some bonuses in EXP, because I know you guys are out there suffering. Keep Tree of Savioring, and I'll see you online. Peace.